So many people have tried to praise Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but I can confidently say there's no person that's ever stepped in this road who has been successful in truly describing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because he had a spiritual presence. When a person sat in the gathering of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he felt the spiritual presence. What is it? As soon as a person accepted Islam at the hands of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the state of Islam, if he saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he transformed from a kafir, from a mushrik or a normal person into a sahabi. Instantly, in moments. He would pass and shoot spiritually to such a level that was beyond imagination, because that was the gathering of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Sahabi says that when we sat in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, every person that sat next to him, they felt that they were the closest thing to him. They felt that they were the closest person to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's how he catered to every single individual sitting in his gathering. But then they realized that there were people that were closer than them. One Sahabi he asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "O Messenger of Allah, who's the closest person to you?" He thought the answer was going to be you. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu." He said, "Okay, let me try again." After him, who's closest to you? Umar radiallahu ta'ala. After him, who's closest to you? Uthman radiallahu ta'ala. After him, who's closest to you? Ali radiallahu anhu. The Sahabi said, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam began the list, I thought I may be at the end of the list. Let me stop right here. Let me not ask any more questions before I end up at the end of the list. But what I'm saying is that when you sit in the gathering of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was something different. Hanzala radiallahu anhu, what does he say? He says that when he sat in the gathering of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he would describe Jannah, it was as if we were walking in Jannah. When he would describe the fire of hell, it was as if the fire was just 2 feet away from us. That was the gathering of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But we'll make a little attempt, inshallah, to try to just explain the ahadith that describe the physical appearance of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Sahaba, they say the height of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was nor too tall or too short. He had the perfect height. So no one called him, lamppost or skinny person, or neither was he some short person or shorty. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had the perfect height. That when a person would look at height, he'd say that is the perfect height there. And the miracle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was such that no matter how tall the person standing next to him was, when he would stand next to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would not seem to be taller than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The feet of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Sahaba, they say they were wide and they were firm. The hands of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He had hands that had meat on them, and the feet and the fingers were long. Sign of a manly hand. You understand? Not just a loose hand, right? It was a firm hand and it was a manly hand. Then they described the chest of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That the chest of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was flat, right? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a wide chest. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he only had one line of hair going through the middle of his chest, right? Not a rug there. Many of us have rugs there. Okay, not that. One simple line going down the middle of his chest. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sawa as-sadri wal-batn. What does that mean? His chest and his stomach were in one line. It wasn't like straight and then a big lump. The chest and the stomach of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was straight. You know, people today's day and age, people, subhanAllah, they've totally missed this point in the description of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. People, mashallah, are following the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in every aspect, but they forget about the diet of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's also a secret to his nubuwwah and his character. How Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ate. What were the eating habits of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? The Sahaba, they say that his stomach and his chest were in line. I'll never forget this day that once I went in front of, I was invited somewhere for tea. In England, I studied in England, so in England, whenever people would, want to chill, they'd invite each other for tea. Right, so we went for a tea party. So I went to that person's house, the uncle who called us over. When he was drinking his tea, the intervals between the sip, he'd take his hand and rest it on his stomach. And then he'd take a sip and rest it on his stomach again. And all the guys that were sitting there, we were laughing our heads off. So that wasn't Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One time Umar radiallahu anhu saw a person that had a big belly. So he said to him, "What's this big thing you're dragging in front of you?" So he said, "This is the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." What did the guy respond back by saying? "This is the mercy of Allah right here." So he said, "La bal hada min adabillah." This is actually a punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam never had this. Okay? So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was very strong. His build was such that any man that dared to take down Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would never be successful. Never be successful. That was the power of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Okay? It was inner strength and physical strength. Then the Sahaba, they described the shoulders of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were wide, broad, and they were firm. In between the shoulders of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the seal of Prophet. It was the muhr. It was a seal of prophethood that was granted to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The neck of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was perfect. The jaw of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was perfect. The mouth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was beautiful. It was beautiful. And the Sahaba, they say that when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam opened his mouth, it was as if the teeth in the mouth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam were pearls that were placed perfectly next to one another. What did he describe them as? He didn't say golden lockets, not yellow teeth. Pearls. Beautiful, nice, clean mouth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the smell that came from the mouth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Sahabi said, I never smelled fragrance like that in my entire life. When you sat next to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you wait for him to open his mouth so you can once again smell that beautiful fragrance coming from the mouth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The saliva of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it had such power in it that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the night of Hijrah, Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anh had just been bit by a poisonous snake. The poison is spreading through his body, and what does Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam do to cure that? What does he do? He takes the saliva, he applies it to the foot, and the poison automatically comes to an end, and no longer does it have any effect on the body of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anh. The Muslims are fighting in the battle of Khaybar. They're trying to conquer Khaybar. And the first day they can't win, the second day they can't win, they're trying. Finally Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that tomorrow I will give the flag to a person who will definitely conquer Khaybar. Tomorrow I'm going to give the flag to a person. Tomorrow the general will be that man who will conquer Khaybar. So the Sahaba, they thought it was going to be Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, Uthman. They thought it was going to be these three companions. But next day Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who did he give the flag to? Ali radiallahu ta'ala. Who did he give it to? Ali radiallahu ta'ala. Ali radiallahu anh said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, O Messenger of Allah, I can't do it. The reason why I can't do it is because during the war I've injured myself and my eye isn't functioning properly. I can't see properly. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that you've been chosen and you will do this. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam took his saliva, he applied it to the eye of Ali radiallahu anh. Ali radiallahu anh said, for as long as I lived, that eye never hurt me again. The other eye gave me pain, but this eye never ever hurt me again. And then Ali radiallahu anh, the prophecy of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came true. He thought, and he told himself that if the Messenger of Allah said that today I'm going to conquer it at my hands, if Khaybar is going to be conquered at my hands, whatever happens, I'm going to conquer this place. And they fought, and the Jews, they went inside their fort. They went inside their fort. The Jews of Khaybar, the Jews that lived there, they went inside the fort and they locked themselves inside it, so the Muslims couldn't come inside. So they were locked outside the fort and they couldn't come inside. Ali radiallahu anh said, whatever it takes, I'm going inside that fort because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said I'm going to conquer. So what does he do? He goes to the door of the fort, the big doors they had. He held the door and he yanked it out of its hinges. What did he do? For those of us who are very proud of our working out or in our lifting, right? Ali radiallahu anh, he went to the door, he grabbed the door, and he yanked it out of its hinges. And not a door, not a fire exit door. Forget these. This is a door to a fort that is made to secure the community.